What's up, future shred lords? Welcome to the Death to the Fingers guitar course. In the course, we'll go through all the important aspects of developing good guitar practicing habits, building your music knowledge base, and understanding the intricacies of the fretboard. I've received many requests for an all-inclusive and consecutive series of lessons that show you all the basics. So, let's dive in. There are 5 main points in this video. First being music theory. The second being rudiments, which is scales, chords, and arpeggios. The third, systems, 3 notes per string, the classical method, cage, triad pairs, you name it. Once you know the systems, you can start applying approaches, which will allow you to play those systems as intervals or sequences. An example is playing a scale in thirds or using the cycle of fifths on a chord sequence. And last but not least, of course, you have songwriting and improvisation. That's the final apotheosis where you take the previous 4 elements and you start combining them together with your raw musical knowledge and you start to come up with your own compositions, whether it's an actual song or you're just improvising over a backing track. Now let's go through them in a little bit more detail. Theory is the first rung on the ladder. It provides order and structure to music. It allows us to manipulate these structures to come up with new ones or embellish the ones we already have. It provides a roadmap to navigating the fretboard and adds context as a tool for understanding the rudimentary aspects of music. Without math, we would not have gone to the moon. Without theory, it becomes difficult to write the next Stairway to Heaven. Although you can get by with a minimal amount of theory knowledge, you also limit your options when it comes to playing. Theory is like anything else. Learning and applying it in a more simplistic methodology gives you the confidence and abilities to master much more advanced ideas. In the end, theory is a musician's best friend. Rudiments are the building blocks of music and they come in various forms. The most common is the scale, a series of notes strung together in a certain order to create a sound, mood, or atmosphere. By ganging the notes of a scale together and playing them simultaneously in an interval structure, we derive a chord. Chords are obviously the core building blocks of many great songs and are the next evolution of the scale itself, where one note now has become 3 or 4. Chords can be converted into arpeggios. Arpeggios are one of the most important tools in the musician's toolbox. Thus, an excellent knowledge of chords coupled with the dexterity of scales creates an endless source of material to practice and hone your skills. Scales, chords, and arpeggios are then grouped together to create systems. Systems help us internalize and manage this information and allows us to use it conveniently in a songwriting context or by way of improvisation. Learning these systems and being able to move between them freely is the musician's secret weapon. By simply knowing 2 or 3 of them, such as 3 notes per string, caged, and triad pairs, say, you obtain a tremendous advantage in musical expression. The more you use the systems, the more they will integrate with each other. This ultimately betters your skill at moving around the fretboard quickly and confidently. We can now manipulate the systems by applying an approach. Why play the scale up and down in a linear fashion when you can use interval patterns to spice it up? The same could be said with chords. You see this manifested in things like the circle of fifths and the cycle of fourths. Approaches break up the monotony of playing and give you more options. Although they require a higher level of skill to play effectively, the final result speaks for itself. The final stage is applying all the previous ideas to a song or improvisation. This is where you should be spending the lion's share of your practice time. The things you practice eventually become the things that you play in a live context. Therefore, practicing with this end goal in mind greatly focuses the sessions on being musical and innovative rather than a paint-by-numbers situation. When you start to write your own solos and songs, you've reached the highest level a musician can attain, and only your technical prowess on the instrument will differentiate you from others. Practice exercises must evolve into improvs and songwriting sessions, else you wither on the vine and you get stuck in a frustrating cycle of playing other people's music. This can cause your learning arc to stagnate. There will always be time for playing the music you love by artists that inspired you. Just don't forget to work on your own chops so that you can ascend to the same level of greatness that you saw in those iconic bands. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. We'll see you in the next one.